How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today I'm pretty excited because we're going to be talking about a brand new horror movie, and today we're going to be talking about Smile. This is from September 30th, 2022, and is written and directed by Parker Finn, and I believe this is his first full-length motion picture, so that's pretty cool. This movie stars Sosie Bacon, Jessie T, Usher, and Kyle Gallner. And overall, going into this movie, I saw the trailer, and I didn't expect too terribly much from it. You know, it's one of those ghost/curse movies, a mysterious entity killing people off with a special gimmick. You know, we've seen these movies a ton, but overall, it wound up being a pleasant surprise. Now, it's not the best thing ever. 2022 has been a pretty good year for horror. We got the X saga, X and Pearl, and just recently Barbarian came out. That one was a really good one as well. And it's not as good as those other movies, and it's not the best thing ever, but overall, a lot better than I thought it would be. I went in, I saw the trailer, and the first time I saw the trailer, I thought it was going to be a sequel to Blumhouse's Truth or Dare, but then the title came up and it wasn't. It just said Smile, and I'm like, okay, maybe if there's nothing else out. But this actually turned out to be way better than I thought it would be. Way better than a Blumhouse B-side. Again, not the biggest and best thing of the year, but a pretty well-polished curse movie, and overall, a pretty good, pleasant surprise, Overall, this had some pretty interesting camera work, some really good shots, and a good lead actress, and has a lot to say about grief and trauma. Even though the whole curse element we've seen done better in other movies, and watching this movie you might think, oh, this was done better in The Ring, or oh, this was done better in It Follows. Yeah, the curse element isn't the best or most original, and it kind of gets a little bit formulaic, but the theme and what this movie has to say about grief, I think that does work out pretty well. So again, I don't want to build this movie up too much. It's not anywhere near the best of the year, but I think this might develop a little bit of a cult following, especially if it gets released on Netflix or something like that. I could see this movie getting its fans over the years. Just still not the most original curse movie ever. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the plot. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and make sure you guys get the gist of what this is about, but don't worry, I won't be going anywhere near the end. Anyway, we open up with this therapist, and she's seeing a girl. This girl is traumatized because about a week earlier, she witnessed her professor kill himself. I think he smashed himself in the head repeatedly with a hammer or something like that. Pretty gruesome and traumatic stuff, and she says, ever since I saw that suicide, I've been seeing an entity. There's this person, only I can see them, and it looks like anyone, living or dead. This entity could be anyone, but only I can see them, and how I know it's them is this entity likes to have a maniacal smile, so it can't keep itself from smiling in sheer torturous delight. Now, again, like I said about the curse not being the most original thing ever, a mysterious entity that can shapeshift and look like anyone, but only I can see them, yeah, that is a little bit It Follows, but it's different. But anyway, the girl eventually goes, wait, I see the entity, it's in the room with us right now, and the girl starts to freak out. However, before help can arrive, the girl stands up, has a big creepy smile on her face, and cuts herself with a broken shard of a pot that she knocked over, and kills herself right in front of the doctor. Now, after the therapist sees this, she starts to see smiling people just like the girl described, and strange, mysterious, spooky things start to happen. However, she tells herself, this is just in my head, I witnessed a traumatic event, let's go about this calmly. But of course, she will start to see that the curse is indeed real. And there we get the stuff, the tracking down, how far does this curse go? Let's learn a bit about the history, see if we can find a way to stop it. Who can I trust? Because I sound like I'm going insane, And we do get, kind of the cool chain element, You see someone die, the ghost haunts you until it wears away at your psyche, and then you kill yourself in front of one other person, and then that person begins the curse, and it forms this chain that they can follow back in time, And of course, she's dealing with her own past trauma. She has a sister where they have a really complicated relationship, and she has an ex-boyfriend who's a cop, and obviously they broke up, but a cop is a really good asset, so maybe set your differences aside, And then her fiance, who is a really nice guy, but will he believe you're being hunted by some mysterious entity? Overall, what this movie does well, like I said earlier, there's some pretty good shots, a lot of interesting slow panning shots, taking their time and revealing interesting elements about the story. There's even one of the earliest shots in this movie, drone shot following an ambulance. You see them take the girl out and into the hospital, and then the camera pans up and goes in to a window, and then the drama starts. Very Hitchcockian, that shot, Psycho. But anyway, good shots, and they usually lead to pretty good scares. This movie is, a little bit on the jump scary side, but they're, for the most part, pretty good jump scares and not those egregious ones. And some of these scares, pretty well thought out. Again, not the biggest, best thing ever, but a pretty good, solid set of scares here. But beyond just the shots and the scares, the idea of trauma, that's where this movie shines the brightest. It uses the curse as a metaphor for how trauma can get inside of us and wear us down, much like this mysterious smiling entity is doing, and how when something bad happens to us, if we do something horrific, then we pass the chain on, and trauma can go from person to person and spread out much like a curse. And it handles this in a really sensitive way, and it talks pretty deeply about this, and it has a lot to say about a real issue, and it talks about it intelligently. And the lead actress, you can really see it wearing on her, going from an in-control doctor to someone who people don't believe is actually seeing all this stuff, and little things like nervous tics that she does, or the way she holds her hands and stuff, you can really see it eating away on her, and a really good job from the lead here. So yeah, that's really good. So good shots and good theming, that really does hold up this movie. However, the biggest flaw is when we do go into the curse segment, it is a lot of stuff that we've seen before and we have seen done better in other movies, So yeah, curse stuff, some sort of thing is happening to you, happening to all your friends, it's picking them off. Although this isn't really a pick off all your friends one by one movie, so I guess that is a little different. But you have to figure out the gimmick, figure out its history, and figure out how to stop it. And you've seen curse movies. With this movie, you'll primarily think of It Follows and The Ring. I mean, the curse even takes about 7 days, much like The Ring, But also, curse movies have been happening all the way back, like Nightmare on Elm Street. Someone's killing us in our dreams, and, they've kind of become a little factory, Wish Upon, Truth or Dare, when you see this movie, a lot of people will think that it's a little bit factory, but this really isn't. It is formulaic, but they did put in a lot more effort. But when you look at things with the curse, like, for example, the technical elements, this movie does have rules and it does follow them. For example, the creature doesn't just possess someone, it impersonates them. So if you're talking to someone and you're sure they're not the creature, then you can usually be safe until you lose sight of them again. Once they're out of sight, the creature could swap in with them, and you don't really know. Well, okay, a lot of times you can pretty easily guess, and I guess that's the biggest thing. You know, like, when you look at It Follows, a pretty similar but much better movie. It Follows, even after you watch the movie, you can debate who was the it in various scenes. And there's a lot of times you don't really know. Here, yeah, you can pretty much tell who's the smiling entity. There are a few twists. Sadly, sometimes they are spoiled by the trailer. Although the trailer was cut relatively well, it does spoil some of the smiling creature's reveals. But for the most part, you can tell, and I wish they had played this off better. I really wish they had emphasized the who can you trust element, because if it was more of a game, that would totally have worked more. And that's one of the reasons why It Follows works more, is because it is so much of guessing and trying to figure it out. In this film, you basically know pretty quickly who the entity is in a scene, you know? But also, the gimmick, just smiling, that's been done before. Like I said earlier, when I first saw the trailer, I was thinking it was going to be a Truth or Dare trailer. Smiling is okay, it can be pretty creepy, but is it enough to really carry a whole movie? I mean, look at The Ring. The Ring, you had that creepy, messed up tape that just came out of nowhere. Such a deep, dark, and striking visual on that tape. But you don't know where it came from. You don't know how they knew your phone number when they called you when they said 7 days. And it all leads to that horrible, horrible, messed up Ring face. Yeah, The Ring had a lot more going on. And here it's just, smile, you know? And I wish it was a little bit better, but then again, I guess that's the whole title and premise of the movie. So overall, I do want to say, you know, I ranted for a little bit. It really is a decent movie. The acting, the theme, and the cinematography, and the way it leads to some scares, all pretty good, all pretty decent, all pretty polished, all pretty well done. It's just when we get to the actual curse, it's something we've seen a lot, it seems a little formulaic, and I can think of other movies that do it better. So, overall, the curse is formulaic, but it's done good enough, you know? So, it's a pretty good movie, you know, especially just focusing in on the theming there, but not the biggest and best thing ever, but way better than I thought it would be, and I could see this getting a cult following over time. So, overall, I definitely would recommend it if you guys want to see it. It's not another X, it's not another Barbarian, but it's still solid. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my 2022 movies playlist. I've talked about things like Scream, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix. I also talked about X and Pearl, as well as Barbarian. That one just came out a little bit ago. That one was pretty good. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. 2022 movies playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.